The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
Good morning and welcome to Cowboys Storyline. I'm Nick Eatman. Thursday, December 26th. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope it was a festive holiday and got everything that you wanted present-wise and family-wise. And now you can kind of revert back to the Cowboys. And we can talk about the Cowboys and the Eagles or Cowboys and whatever you want to talk about here. It's that point in the season where, you know what, we're starting to loosen the grip a little bit on what we talk about next year. And somebody asked the other day about draft picks and what position of need and all that. And, you know, we're almost there to that point. So I think pretty much everything's still on the table. We can talk about what you guys want here and talk about favorite Christmas presents that you got. And looks like we've hit the Christmas movies. I tried to watch It's a Wonderful Life. I actually turned it on. It was the black and white version, I guess. And it didn't stick. So I don't know. Next thing you know, I'm watching Elf again. So anyways, all right, 888-855-2297. Let's get this thing started. Dylan, Northport, Florida, you're first.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
What's up?
So tried calling on Tuesday, but Chris yelled at me, so he kicked me off. I had a bad connection, so I thought he was Krampus for a minute. No, I'm just kidding. He's like the nicest guy ever. So, but I couldn't get through Tuesday, so I guess a day late, but Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And I never got my favorite movie in, so I'll go with Elf, like Rob said. But I did want to say this season's kind of been like Home Alone a little bit, right? Like every time you turn a corner, there's like a brick to the face or like a swinging paint can to the nuts, like if you're Jalen Tolbert in Pittsburgh. So, you know, I guess that's a fitting second place movie for me.
Yeah.
And very representative of the season for sure.
A brick to the face, yeah.
Yeah.
True. It's been that kind of actually. Yeah, and I actually have referenced this movie, that movie at another point. It was just like the whole season was walking, like, you know, when he's walking with the groceries, and you just walk in, and you're like, all right, I know this is not good. And the next thing you know, the bottom just falls out. That's kind of been what this season has been like here. That was the Cincinnati game. Like, all right, now it's done.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's been a rough one, but you know, it's been enjoyable though, because this is the first season where I got to really, you know, you talk about the ride a lot, and I got to experience the ride this year with a lot of new friends and stuff. So it's been, even though it's kind of sucked the season, you know, it's been still really good on the other side. So, I kind of want to I'm going to go quick here. I kind of want to beat a dead horse this one last time. It's the last time I'm going to talk about it until it comes up down the road. Or I guess a dead reindeer. I guess that's fitting for the holidays. But the salary cap stuff, you mentioned it on 105.3 a couple weeks ago. I think we're talking about two different things here, because when I talk about the salary cap and restructuring deals and all that and the amount you can come up with, I'm talking about what I call pre-tax. And I guess I want to make sure all the fans kind of understand this too, because I've talked about it with a lot of people. Just because you free up a ton of cap space, which you can do over 100, but it doesn't mean it's there for you to spend, because then you still have to count for all the unrestricted free agents you have. You got to sign draft picks, so you got to have money allocated for that. You got to pay out these incentive bonuses like you mentioned on air. So just because, and I'll just throw a number out, just because you do $100 million doesn't mean you have $100 million to go pursue high-priced free agents. You still have your debits to look at. When you look at like a balance sheet, you got your credits and debits. You still got to take stuff away from whatever you free up. And all the things that they can do to free up that cap, I wouldn't necessarily do it. Like moving on from Terrence Steele, well, you can do that and make $14 million back on the cap, but now you don't have a right tackle. So,
right.
You know, that's a problem. Same thing with the two safeties. You can go from Hooker and Wilson, but that's $8 million you can between the two of them. But now you don't have safeties unless you feel confident in the two guys that got hurt this year. So, like, there's pluses and minuses. And just because, like I said, just to wrap it up, just because you're freeing up cap doesn't mean that cap is free to use. When you go on like over the cap or the other one there, Sport Track, You can look at how a roster is built, and you can look at all the teams in the NFL, and the majority of players take up less than 1% of the cap. You got, 68, 69 guys you got to account for, including practice squad,
right.
And the majority take up less than 1%. You want to balance that and have more guys in the median, but when you look at the Cowboys, it's like there's a handful of guys making more than 2-3%, and my goodness, there's a ton of guys in that less than 1% range, and they're still going to be there if they don't do some of these moves like restructuring Dak and CD and some of these guys. But some that's riskier than what maybe you probably want to do, especially with Dak and like Trayvon Diggs. So
right.
I'll leave you with that and hear what you have to say, and happy holidays, man.
All right, thank you. I don't know if a lot of fans understand everything that you just said, because it's not the easiest thing to talk about, the salary cap. But I'll say this though, that's why I never really get into it much, because you could say, well, we've got, $30 million under the cap. So a lot of fans would look at that and go, well, we can get 3 players for that for $10 million each, or, 2 $15 million, whatever it is. But remember this, I think it's about $24 million that you have to set aside for draft picks, practice squad, game day elevations, and then also like your injury report. Injured reserve, your incentive bonuses, things like that. So, just to play it safe, you've got to have about 24, 25 million, maybe even a little bit more in a season like this with all these injured guys on injured reserve. I mean, you put Brandon Cooks on injured reserve, well, you're still paying him, but you're getting another guy in, and now you're paying him. So you're paying about 75 players when it looks like you're paying like 53. You actually have a lot more than that. So that's why it's always kind of tough to calculate, and that's why those websites like Spotrac and OverTheCap.com, like they can only do with what they do and based off of what the numbers are, but knowing that the teams itself have a different agenda, they got different books because they know what they're going to do and what they're going to spend. So it's kind of hard to go off of it like that. All right, let's go to Brian in Kansas City.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I've enjoyed Christmas. I got a little bit of a excuse me. I got a little bit of a cold, but
sorry.
I did. Thank you. I enjoyed my Christmas. How about you?
Pretty good for sure.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
I asked Chris if Santa dropped off like an Eagles win while you guys were out celebrating Christmas. Maybe at the Star. He said no.
No.
He said he didn't see one, just waiting for us when he got back to work. So,
yeah, didn't see that, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens if maybe they have to play with the Eagles have to play with their backup quarterback. You know how hard how things change a little bit when you have to play with your backup quarterback. I don't know if the Cowboys know this, but yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, I got a couple of personnel questions I thought I'd throw out there and see what you think. So, 2 people that were kind of, coming into the season, we thought were going to play big, major roles based on what we had previously seen. Well, I say major roles, bigger roles than what we saw based just on potential. And in one case, which is Ferguson, I thought he was going to be, a top-tier tight end this year. And I don't know if it's – obviously he missed a couple of games, and I don't – there's a change in quarterback. All that stuff factors in. But he has not been the dominant factor that I kind of figured on. And then I was kind of surprised that they seem to have given up on the Hunter Lipke experiment. So I'll hang up and listen to your thoughts on that, man. Okay. And thanks for taking my call, and thank you guys for being there today.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Merry Christmas to you. You say giving up on Hunter Lipke. I mean, he plays a lot. So, did you think as a running back maybe or whatever? I mean, he's not going to be a tailback in the NFL. I mean, he doesn't have that kind of speed and quickness. He can get the ball every now and again, and I thought they would give it to him a little bit more. But I mean, he plays. I mean, there's not like they've given up on him. He plays. He plays a lot, but he's not as a featured back or anything like that. They don't throw him the ball that much, and and some of the tight ends, have played well. I mean, Schoonmaker has made that leap, but and so is Span Ford. I think both of them have done a nice job. But you're right. Ferguson, I put him as one of and I hate to say this, because everybody likes him and he's done a good job and he's been hurt some. But I do think him not taking that leap is one of the more disappointing things of the season. They needed that. When you walked into this season, you're like, all right, there's 5 to 10 guys that have to take that jump. This is their free agency right here. They're not going to get free agents. They need these guys to take the leap here. And one of them, of course, was Sam Williams, and he gets hurt. Another one was Brock Hoffman, and then he gets jumped over by Cooper Beebe, and then he ends up playing well now that he's had that jump. Hunter Lipke was one that we looked at and was okay. Ferguson was a Pro Bowl player, a really good player, needed to be a great player. The list goes on and on. Mozzie Smith was one. Did he take that leap? I think he went up the stairs a little bit, but I don't think he didn't pole vault to a next level or anything like that. So those guys didn't take that big leap, and then the players that were already here, a lot of them got hurt. So that's part of it. Only some of the issues of what this team struggled with. All right, let's go to Travis in San Antonio.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Hope everyone had a good day yesterday. Didn't get any cold, so hopefully that was a positive for everybody.
Yeah. No, I don't. Not that I know of, unless
no cold in the Eatman home.
No.
That's good.
Not at all. So,
all right.
Cole Beasley jersey.
There you go.
No,
nice.
I'm kidding.
Well done.
I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Cole.
No, you're good. I was going to say you were right back in the saddle today, and then I was going to say right back in the sleigh, but so. But no, I just wanted to hit you with 3 things, and you can hit on any 3 of them. I'll make them pretty quick.
Yeah.
The last time I called and talked to you, I was talking to you about Dak and the play calling, and I know you kind of mentioned after I dropped about maybe this proves they don't need a $60 million quarterback, and that's sort of not what I was saying. So I'm going to defend myself a little bit on that one and just clarify for you. It's more or less like if you look at like a Jared Goff, for instance, he's making $53 million, so it's not a whole big difference. But what they do is they look at him and they go, like, this is what Jared Goff is good at. This is what he's not good at. How do we support him to get the best out of him? And I just think that's something McCarthy could look at in the offseason and go, how do I now support my quarterback that's had a couple lower body injuries and help get these wide receivers maybe open like we've seen with some of the play action stuff even last week. So it's more or less just I hope he changes philosophically some of the stuff he calls if he comes back to maybe support the quarterback when it's not Cooper Rush. So that's that. And then I wanted to see, I know the last injury report I saw, Nick, Austin Richards is a full go.
Yeah.
Do you have any indication if he's going to play? Because I think the last 2 games, him playing would be a huge evaluation for the team if he can play left tackle based on how he played so far. And then if he plays well the last 2 games, I think that'd be a huge boost in like their plans of, who starts next year or whatnot. So
Yeah. No.
No. Okay.
No. I you're right. You're 100% right on to that. And yes, I think that would be a great addition. Just from an evaluation standpoint, like you said, and he did practice. He is still on injured reserve, but he did practice, so they opened up that window. And I think the idea would be for him to come back and certainly maybe play in a game or 2. I don't know about starting, but. If it's not going to be Guyton, then yes, 100%. Now, one of the 2. No offense to Chuma, it's just that's not your future. So, yeah,
and that's why I was kind of wondering if they'll do that because they've sort of done that with Chuma anyway. So it's like if he does come back, this is not me saying I'm giving up on Guyton, but let's get him if we can get him in the last 2 games and get a lot of tape that they can evaluate. That would be good.
I'm with you.
And then last thing I wanted to throw out there just to give some added context because this actually would surprise me, Nick, when you look at his total career. I know we've had a lot of Jordan Lewis love, which is I think is awesome, but I just pulled it up because I was curious. In his career, Nick, just for like something to put in the back of your head, he's got 376 career tackles, 9.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, 9 fumble recoveries, and 10 interceptions, which kind of surprised me. So, like, for his career, I would say he's been a very, very solid plus above average contributor. So I just want to throw that out there for everybody and hope everybody has a great new year and beat the Eagles.
All right. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate that. I listen to those stats. I'm gonna look that up as far as, so I think I heard that right. 10 interceptions, 10 sacks, or maybe 9.5 sacks, 10 interceptions, and 10 forced fumbles, 10 sacks. Anyways, that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good stat line for a cornerback, for a corner that can make those plays. And, it's weird because I still kind of always view him as kind of a younger guy. I mean, he's certainly not. I mean, 2017 was his draft, and he was definitely the best player from that draft, 3rd round pick, and had some, had some character concerns just because there was a legal matter that he was dealing with. And the Cowboys did a lot of homework on him and said, no, this is going to get resolved. This is not who he is. He was being accused of something that wasn't true. And the Cowboys stood by him and said, no, we think that he's going to be a really, really great player, great addition. They got great value for him. And, look at him now. I mean, he's been outstanding, and I bet he comes back as long as the Cowboys can pay him, what he thinks he deserves. He probably will come back. All right, let's go to Daven in Illinois. Daven.
What's up, Nick?
What's up, man? Now, are you on the Storyliners? This is who I talked to a few nights ago. Uh-oh. Oh, man.
This is me.
Let's go. Well, first of all, let's do what we have to do here because you're a first-time caller. Here we go. Even though I know a lot of people that are on the spaces on Twitter, they know you very well. So, but you have not been able to call in. You said you would. You said the Christmas holidays and that time would open up your time to do that. So, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? Just so happy to finally get on. It's been a long time coming, to be honest. They wanted to get on for the longest, but of course, I work overnight, so it's hard to get in when I always send them a question to my piece, but they sometimes ask them. But it's time to finally get
good.
Show myself.
What do you got? What do you got for me?
Well, yeah, man, just a quick question. I've been thinking about it all morning because I told Irene I was going to get on and try to get on this morning. I guess it's, I told you on the Twitter space that my game I wanted to get the lick back was this game here because I was in the stadium for the last Philly game. Mm-hmm. So since we pretty much ruined my fun of having a good draft position, it's time to just go get a lick back. And it seemed like I think Jalen is out, or probably be out, or dealing with concussion right now, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we can get that back. So I guess the one question I have, on the other flip side of that is, if you was advising Mr. Jones, what would be the first thing you do after our final game next week against Washington? What the first thing you'd be trying to put on the agenda for moving forward?
Well, let's stay on the line because I want to ask you that too. So first agenda, game is over. Last game of the season, it's over, and you're saying what would you do?
What would you advise Mr. Jones to do?
Well, you gotta start with if you're gonna make any coaching decisions, you gotta start at the top. So, I mean, make your decision. If you don't do it already, figure out what you're gonna do right away. I mean, like you have to do that. And I, being selfish here because I know what a coaching change means and all that. I don't want to see a coaching change. But I think that they've played well enough for McCarthy, and with all the situations, all the injuries is part of it, not all. But I think with everything involved, they're playing well for him. He's always pretty much played well in December. It's January that's been the issue, obviously, for this team. I take care of that, and I bring him back. That's probably the first thing that I do because that's where you have to start everything else for the coaching staff. What would you do?
Well, I mean, the Twitter Spaces know what I feel about McCarthy.
Yeah.
But since
well, tell us. Share with the class here.
God.
Well, I mean,
to be honest with you,
and remember, this is a class. This is a class where use the language you would use in a classroom type thing. I know.
But you don't. I wouldn't go ham like that. But you don't think
McCarthy should come back?
No, I'm ready for McCarthy to go. I think the slow starts, the weird, goofy play calling he does half the time, play calling period. I can't stand it. Pretty much. Ridiculously play calling, and the slow starts is killing me because I feel like if we got to Rico earlier, since Rico is actually our best running back, I think we probably would have still had Dak standing up right now. But since that's neither here or there, and we can't have that, I would first resolve this coaching thing. If he gonna move forward with McCarthy, fine, I'm a diehard, so we're gonna roll with it regardless. But next, he needs to get Mike agent. Jordan Lewis' agent and Oath's agent and try to make some deals before we even get to free agency. I need them things to be done, wrapped up, and we're going to try to make move forward and hopefully this time spend some money, which I don't know if we will, but we'll see.
Well, you're going to have to – Daven, thanks for the call. I appreciate that. It's good to hear from you, and I hope you call back again.
I got a story about Sergeant Sue because I'm in Dallas right now. I'm like 20 minutes from the start, so I got a story to tell.
Okay.
Not on air, but when we get to Oxnard and we hang out with you.
All right, I look forward to that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Davian, appreciate it. Thanks for the call, and always keeping it real. I know that you're one that a lot of people reference a lot, kind of like with Rob. When they say you gotta say things, it's like you hold a lot of water, and that's really good, and that's the kind of fans that we need here at the Storyline. Glad that you were able to call in. Jordan Lewis, Parsons, Osa want to get those deals done. I don't disagree there. I think, and the good thing is, so does Parsons. And Parsons can say that because he's not going to be a free agent. Osa and Jordan, their agents don't really want to get the deal done because they want to see what the market really looks like. The Cowboys wanted to get Dorrance Armstrong done. Well, of course they did. They didn't want to pay $15 million a year. His agent's like, let's see what the market looks like. It looked like $15 a year, which when you look at the contract, it's going to really be more like 11 the way it kind of shakes out. Still more than what the Cowboys wanted to pay. So with Osa, good luck getting that deal done first. I think he's played it his way to a contract, probably out of the Cowboys' price range. I just mean good luck getting it done before free agency. They're going to have to fight with other teams probably when that happens. Let's go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. Be right back. We'll answer a lot more calls.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline. You can call in here, 888-855-2297, or text the show, 817-290-3298. Haven't had a text line question in a while. You guys, we always prefer the calls, but Chris loves to do more things back there, and reading text is certainly on the list for sure. All right, he said we had a caller. Zach in Atlanta, been waiting. So, Zach, what's up, man?
Hey, Papa Elf, how are you?
I was going to say, bring me something funny. I don't know if that's it. What do you got?
Well, yeah, I'm catching up on all my Christmas movies, and
what'd you
my
watch?
Contribution.
What'd you watch?
Man, we watched Elf. We watched Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We watched one called Just Friends. It's a Ryan Reynolds rom-com Christmas movie. Really funny, man. That's a sleeper hit. But yeah, I'd say my favorite.
Is that one where he was like really fat and then he comes back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's it's that classic movie
wild.
where the guy like leaves town for 10, 12 years and he comes back and his girlfriend is still there, and then he's changed and all that stuff, and that movie.
Yeah, it's like the inverted Hallmark movie. Instead of the girl coming back home, it's the guy.
It's the guy.
Back.
Yeah.
It's a funny one, man. A lot of laughs. My wife and I loved it. But Merry Christmas to y'all, man. Hope it was a good one.
Same.
Just a quick comment today. We've got the Eagles coming up, and so I'm going to throw 3 names out there and take one or take all of them. But I've got Orlando Scandrick, Mark Sanchez, and Jason Peters, who played for both squads.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have any stories or comments on them, that'd be great. And also, we've got a chance. Washington eliminated us a few weeks ago, or actually Sunday. We've got a chance, if some things play out with Atlanta and Tampa Bay, if they're winning their games, and both teams have a lot to play for. So Washington's not, going to be a shoo-in to make the playoffs. We can spoil next week if things play out properly. So we can return the favor to Washington.
Sure.
But got to handle business in Philly.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. There's still a lot of fun things in store. So
yeah,
that's all I got, man. Mark Sanchez, Orlando Scandrick,
Jason
Peters. And I'm gonna hang up, man.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you. I'm sitting here trying to think about those 3 guys from a story standpoint. You would think I'd have a lot more on Scandrick. Actually, it's funny you say that about Scandrick and the movie that everyone keeps talking about. They called him Orlando the Grinch because he was that way sometimes. You never know. You were going to get good mood Orlando or bad mood Orlando. And that's, you could say that probably about anybody, myself included, of course. But no, I just think that he was one where you never knew what you were going to get, and sometimes he'd like to sit there and ask a lot of questions, and just what was going on. He was big in basketball, loved to talk about the NBA and stuff like that. But he was Orlando was a good player. He's a lot like Jordan Lewis to me, like as far as how they played, their size, good off the edge. You could get sacks with him. Playmaker, would get some interceptions. Personality-wise, different, but I'm just saying that's kind of what I remember about Scandrick. Jason Peters, he's one of my favorite players when he played at Arkansas. When he was a tight end at Arkansas, he made some great plays there. He wasn't one of my favorite players when he was with the Eagles and he was shutting down DeMarcus Ware. Not shutting down, but he was certainly a load there. And then Sanchez. Now I don't have a ton of stories, but I know that he helped Dak a lot his rookie year in 2016. Really helped him get to that level. All right, Chris, if we have another call, let me know because I don't have anything on the screen. Do we have anyone? What do we got?
Jeremy in D.C.
Jeremy, what's up?
Hey, yo, Nick, what's up, brother?
How are you?
You didn't hurt nobody today, did you?
No. No, it's Christmas.
What about over the Christmas break? You been staying out of trouble?
Yeah, staying out of trouble for sure. Just Christmas just exploded in our living room, and it's just paper, and I stepped on about 7 things. You stepping on Legos and little stuff here and there and toys, but yeah. But it's all good. That's my favorite. That's my favorite mess of the year is when it's just presents everywhere, and it's great. So, hope you had a good one as well.
Hey man, my daughter's still the age where she just play with the wrapping paper. She don't.
Oh really? Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're not. We're a little bit past that one now.
Yeah, man. So I was just calling in because a couple of things. How much do you think that, as far as salary cap is concerned, do you think we'll have after we re-sign or try to re-sign the 25 to 30 free agents that we're going to have? And then I wanted to know, brain fart.
It's all right. That's all right.
I'm having a brain fart. Sorry.
Well, let me answer that first real quick, and maybe you think about it. They're not going to sign all those 25 free agents. Some of those guys were brought in later in the season or just because of injuries and stuff like that. So, you're not going to get all of them. You're going to get, 12 to 13 of those players. How much money they're going to have. They'll have money to do certain things. I think that, they'll add probably 17 players, 18 players. Now, how many are going to be from, the current team? How many outside? I would imagine like 10 and 7, if I'm just guessing. Something like that. 10 of the guys that are here, 7 on other teams. It'll probably even itself out, though. So.
And the other question still ain't come back to me, man. Hopefully I can think about it and I'll just give you a holler tomorrow. But my number for today is 31. My original 31 is George T. A lot of people that I know that are Cowboys fans think that was Roy Williams that hit T.O. off the star. Mm-hmm. And they don't know that was George T.
Yeah, Roy Williams.
I know if you had.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You want a story from a 31?
Yep, from a 31.
All right. Well, there's Brock.
All right. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. You got Brock, Marion, Benny Barnes, but Roy Williams for sure. It's funny. Roy Williams says that, like, in any given week, he'll get a text message. He'll get tweets that say, so glad that you knocked T.O. off the star. And then also he would get them as like, great win over Wake Forest this weekend, or can't believe y'all lost to Duke. It was thinking it was the Roy Williams from North Carolina, the former coach at North Carolina. So yeah, he got a lot of tweets and messages that weren't really going for him. So those are my 31s. Roy Williams, really enjoyed working on that documentary with him that we did a few years ago. He welcomed us to his home and just said, "Hey, you do the documentary your way." And most people don't say that, and he did, and he was fine with it. And he's got a new book coming out. He wrote, and he told me we were going to talk about that at some point. He may even get Roy Williams on the show at some point if he comes back into Dallas and bring his book. And that'll be an interesting read. I wouldn't mind looking at that for sure. All right, Josh in Chicago's next. Josh, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. Hey, I forgot to say the other day when I called in too, Four Christmases is an awesome Christmas movie too.
Yeah, I watched it again. It's fascinating to me, like just the way Vince Vaughn handles that. That's one of his best, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. I was really hoping when Zach in Atlanta called in, he was going to call you like College Boy or something like that. Get a good movie reference for you.
No,
but
what do you got, man?
Oh, not much. I was just going to say, there's been a lot of talk about re-signing Osa and Jordan Lewis, which I agree with, but I also think Eric Hendricks is somebody who needs to be on that short list, too.
I have him written down right here as I wrote him as my fourth guy down here. Probably not in that order, but I wrote him on that list as well.
Yeah, I would love to see him brought back, especially if the coaching staff doesn't change. I think he brought a lot to this defense and a lot of veteran, knowledge and experience. The other thing for Philly, I'm really looking at Brock Hoffman and Cooper Beebe, seeing what they can do against Carter and Davis. Those are two big boys, so want to see some evaluation of those two guys, and that's all I got for you today,
okay.
man.
Thank you. It remind me that we had another caller earlier that talked about Awesome Richards and wanting to see him, wanting to see some from, Hoffman, of course, Beebe. But, what I would like to see more than anything is I want to see that Tyler Guyton, have a great week of practice, play and start the game. He's been somewhat healthy. Now, Edoga's played well, but I'd like to see Guyton take it back, be the starter, play well, carry some momentum into the season. That would be huge. That's what he needs. This is that round of golf. You guys play golf. Maybe if you play it, like in recreational type, not that great. You play every now and again. Here we are in the round of golf where you've had one of those days, okay? You've hit the ball all over the place, a couple of great shots here and there. You hit it into someone's pool. You all over the woods. It's that 17th hole where you hit the greatest shot of your life, and you're like, wow, where has that been all day? Well, you know what? I'm going to play again, and give me some better clubs. It's the clubs. It's whatever. I need some lessons. But it's that point in the round where you're going to have a really, really great shot, and that keeps you coming back again. That's what I want to see out of Tyler Guyton. Let's have one of those games here at Philly or Washington or both where you're like, see, this guy's got something. He's got something. Then he carries it into the offseason, the weight room, all of that stuff, because that's what he needs. He needs to have a really great offseason, needs to kind of change his body a little bit. All rookies do that. Rookies going into their second year, you'll see a change with them physically. That's what needs to happen. So I'm looking, Awesome Richards would be great, some of these other guys, but I really want to see Tyler Guyton. I want to see Tyler Guyton finish this season strong to the point where he can build some momentum going into the offseason. All right, Mike in Washington, the state of Washington. Mike, what's up?
He just dropped.
And he just dropped. Oh. Man. Was that a first-time call?
It was. Here, I'll give him one. Here we
go. Here we go. Yeah, he really did. It's not supposed to be a literally, here we go. So the lines are open. You know what? Let's take a break. Doing that, let's take our last break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back after this.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Alltech Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alltechlansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Alltech Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Go.
All right, welcome back here on Cowboys Storyline. Got about 10 more minutes of the show. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. We're talking about everything, talking about the Eagles game, talking about next year priorities to re-sign, talking about Christmas movies here in my list. Tried to watch some over the break. Like I said earlier in the show, It's a Wonderful Life. I tried, but also tried to do it like on Christmas Eve where, you're moving presents around and all that. Didn't really get to sit down and watch it. But, as my mom told me this, it's there for a reason. That people keep saying it, even though it's an older movie, it's kind of it still comes back on everyone's list. So there's a reason for it. I got to make sure and watch that. I'm not big on movies though that were older than me. I mean, I haven't seen a lot. Never seen The Godfather. I've never seen a lot of movies like that. I know, but anyways, all right. Chris, do we have a caller?
Yeah, you want it blind?
Let's go. Yeah, let's just say Merry Christmas. We'll see if I can see who this is.
Oh, this should be really easy.
Oh, okay.
All right. And
what's up? How are we doing?
Hey, Nick. How are you?
Oh, man. Let's see. Who would this be? This would be, Rob in Vegas.
How was your Christmas?
It was great, man. How was yours? Did you watch Elf?
We did. We celebrate Christmas Eve. It's just the kids are, 30. They're easy. Everybody doesn't want to get up anymore, So they come over. We watched Elf. We watched Die Hard. It was on in the background.
Christmas movie? Where do you stand on that?
That was on. I'm like you. If it's really old, no. Especially if it's a black and white, I'm not.
No. Christmas movie, Die Hard. Where do you stand?
Yes. Yeah, that's a Christmas movie. And it's funny because now that I was watching it, I was paying attention more to the Christmas stuff.
Who was that? Who was that? Chris, chime in there. Who was it that called and said, "Here's why"? And I was like, "All right, I'm with it." Was it Josh in Atlanta? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I believe so.
Or Mike or Josh in Chicago. Zach in Atlanta, I think.
Zach
is who it
in
was.
Atlanta.
One of them called in and said, and I'm pretty stubborn. I don't like to change my mind, but I'm like, yeah, I'll give it to you. So
he's the one that said his wife's name was Holly.
Oh yeah. That one was a stretch, but the fact that there's 3 songs on the soundtrack, yes, 3 Christmas songs, yeah, I'm with it. So it's a good movie regardless. Though they could have changed a couple of things here and there and made it a 4th of July movie. They could have, and it would have been fine, but they didn't. And it's a Christmas movie. I'm with you. All right, what do you got, Rob?
And then obviously yesterday watched some bad football games.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about those, honestly. Yeah.
Because they were on they weren't on regular TV. They were on.
If I lose my fantasy games because I forgot to set my lineup on that, I'm gonna be real mad. I'm not used to doing it on Wednesday or Tuesday night. Oh well. All right.
I watched the interview of Mike Zimmer did, I think the day after the game, and I didn't realize he's the second highest paid defensive coordinator in the league. He makes $4 million a year. And he was talking, and somebody asked him about coming back next year, and he was kind of like, 68 years old, So I'm just wondering if they're tied together in Jerry's eyes, because if you said which coach did a better job with what he had, I would say Zimmer did, because I think they took so many injuries, and then obviously Dak went out. But I wonder if that's going to be an interesting thing if Zimmer announces after the season that I'm done, if that really affects his decision on Mike McCarthy. We've talked about this. I think he's going to bring him back. I don't want him back. I want a new voice, but I think he is. But if he is 50-50, that may change the whole conversation if Zimmer doesn't come back. But he also did say, I don't think I'll get another head coaching job because I'm 68. So could you see a scenario where if Jerry says, I don't want to lose Zimmer, make Zimmer the head coach, and then all you got to do is bring in an OC. How would you feel about that?
Interesting. I've never actually thought about that. And Rob, thanks for the call. You have anything else, Rob? We're going to move it.
No, enjoy your holidays. I'll talk to you next week.
You too. Thanks for the call. And that's an interesting scenario. I mean, that's not that far-fetched. It would be unfortunate for Mike. I mean, but that's the way that the business works sometimes. It'd be unfortunate to say, all right, because you got to remember, I mean, there was a lot of people that wanted Zimmer out of here early on. And so think about that. Like, Zimmer, he got his share of criticism as well. Now they're playing better. Did anything change? Did anything change over the last part of the season that now he's playing better? Let's see. Well, Micah came back. Micah came back, and now all of a sudden the defense looks really good now. So if we're giving him a pass because of the injuries, then wouldn't McCarthy get a pass for the injuries too? I mean, because he's had a lot on all sides of the ball as well. So all I'm saying is that if we're going to play that game of like, well, yeah, but the injuries there, now look how they're playing. Well, you can make the case for Mike as well. That is an interesting scenario. That would keep Zimmer here. That would also, you'd have to get it all. You're pretty much starting over. And see, that's the thing. I don't think the Cowboys want to do that with Dak. They don't really want to have to change things up with him. They're already paying him the money. Let's make it as easy as possible for him to be a great quarterback. And I think that's kind of what'll play a factor into this is Dak friendly. We haven't said that in a while, or at least I haven't, but that's kind of what that is. I'm having some issues here, Chris. If there's any other caller, you can bring him on. If not, we can
Mike in Washington State.
He's back. Mike, what's up?
I am back. I'm telling you, I'm calling it is a blizzard outside, and we've got about a foot of snow on the ground right now, just enough for Santa to get his sleigh in and out of here. And first-time caller, bud.
Here we go. Here we go. I don't know. I might be a second-time caller because I think you called and it hung up because of the snowy, the blizzard.
Yeah, it's crazy out here right now. I mean, it's cool. Anyway, Nick, I had a question about what do you think about this Deuce Vaughn thing? Is he going to be on our roster next year? And I hate to say it, but I'm a Oklahoma Sooner fan. And that dude, when he played for Kansas State, he just tore us apart. I mean, I hated when we played that guy because we could never catch the guy.
Yeah.
It seems like now we got him, and we can't even get him on the field. I mean, do you think this guy's coming back? Are we going to keep him? I know he's still on his, what is his fourth year?
This is his second year. You talking about Deuce Vaughn?
Oh, second year. Deuce Vaughn, yeah.
Yeah, Deuce, he's played, this is his second season with the team.
Yeah.
You can make that case with a lot of college players. I think the NFL, bigger, stronger, faster, arm tackles can bring him down. To me, he's overmatched here. That's what I've seen. And I know that we haven't seen a ton of plays with him, but when he's had his moments, they've been in the preseason, probably against a lot of players that aren't in the NFL. You can argue that he hasn't had a lot of opportunities. You could also argue back there's a reason why. I don't see it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't see him being a big factor. I don't know if he's got a role. I just don't. He's certainly not big and strong, and I don't think his speed and quickness is to the point where he can make up for that enough. I hope I'm wrong. Love watching him play when he was at Kansas State. I love his attitude now. His dad does a great job. It's a great, great story. I don't know. I think we would have seen it by now if he really had something. Again, if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah, I got to say, I hated him in college, but I love him now. I watched him play in the preseason. He seems like he does a good job. It doesn't take a lot of room for him to break away, but it just seems like when he gets the ball, there's four people on him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's offensive line and whatnot. Anyway, my second question for you, and I'll kind of get off the air and you can answer this. But the last game that I watched was the Monday night game, and Micah Parsons is the one that I noticed the most of all. That he was so gassed that he didn't even rush. He stood when the ball was hiked. He stood there, and you may have seen that too. Do you think with all the injuries that conditioning is an issue in Dallas? Because I've never seen on other teams. I don't see people just standing there. I love Micah to death, so it's not a knock on him. I mean, he was just gassed.
Yeah.
Do you think that conditioning is an issue for the Cowboys, that we have all these injuries, and that's sometimes due to conditioning?
Mm-hmm.
And when you see a superstar like Micah, on a live ball, just stand there because he's so wiped out that he can't even rush.
Are you talking about
that's an issue?
Are you talking about the Bengals game? Yeah. The Bengals game for him Monday night?
No, actually, not the Monday. I'm sorry, not Monday night game. It was the one after that.
Okay.
That was the
last game, Carolina. Yeah. All right. Well, oh no, you're talking about Tampa. You're talking about the Tampa game. Okay.
The Tampa game. The Tampa game.
All right.
It was in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was getting towards the end. I mean, you might have saw it. He just stood at the line of scrimmage. He didn't even try to rush because he was just wiped out.
Yeah. He admitted that the conditioning, after the injury was tough. You got when you get hurt and you're out for 5 weeks, really 6 weeks with an ankle injury, you can't do as much, So it's almost like having 2 training camps, like 2 seasons, start, stop. And he's had to kind of get his body back right for that. He plays a position that most people have a healthier rotation there. They don't, DeMarcus Ware was the same thing. Now, he had great conditioning, but it was when do you take this guy out? When do you go from DeMarcus Ware to Victor Butler? Sorry, that's the only name I could think of. In this case, when do you go from Micah and then, you move him out and you have another rusher, Nealand or whatever. It's just different. So you keep him in as much as you can. And he plays so hard, it's you're getting hit by 2 guys every single time, the chips, all that. And I think he's been phenomenal in his return. I don't question his conditioning. I don't really question conditioning of the team that much. I don't know if these injuries conditioning. Is it Dak's hamstring falls off the bone because of the condition? I don't know. I don't think so. And I know that there's a lot of case to it. Like if it was just all hamstrings, and soft tissue issues for every one of them, then you can make that argument. I don't know if that's the case though. I think it's been a bad luck year all the way around. Key players, Pro Bowl type guys that have been banged up and multiple players at the same position, which really hurts your depth. So that's the injury part of it. Again, they're not 7-8 just because of injuries. They're 7-8 because they weren't good enough. In some of those games early in the season, they didn't. The defense wasn't gelling. The offense wasn't. Then when they one side got better, then the other one had big injuries. It just never did mesh this year. But they're playing well right now. They're playing spoiler. See if they can spoil things for the Eagles and maybe Washington and maybe some other teams as well. All right, we'll be back tomorrow here on Cowboys Storyline to wrap up the week and another final preview for the Eagles game. For Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. See you tomorrow on Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?